Hello everyone, my name is Nur Shahida binti Jamil. I am from NBI 9A and today I would like to present about Asian social cultural community. Okay, for the introduction, Asian social cultural community, also known as ASCC. The Asian social culture community is all about realizing the full potential of the Asian citizen. The ASCC Blueprint 2025 was adopted by the Asian leaders at the 27th Asian Summit on 22nd November 2015, it is located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Next, the Asian social cultural community is one of the three pillars of the Asian community, and the member states of the associations are Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. The Asian Secretariat is based in Jakarta, Indonesia. ASCC is working towards the benefits of the Asian people, which is ASCC is working towards a committed, participative, and socially responsible community for the benefit of Asian people. A sustainable community that promotes social development and environmental protection. Okay, for the ASCC characteristic, the primary goal of the ASCC is to contribute to realizing an Asian community that is people-centered and socially responsible with a view to achieving enduring solidarity and unity among the nation and people of Asia by forging a common identity and building a caring and sharing society which is inclusive and harmonious where the well-being, livelihood, and welfare of the people enhanced. And then the ASCC will address the region inspiration to live the quality of life of its people through the cooperative activity that are people-oriented and environmentally friendly geared towards the promotion of a sustainable development. And then the ASCC shall contribute to building a strong foundation for the greater understanding and a good neighbor and a shared sense of a responsibility. And then ASCC shall respect the different culture and languages and also religion of the people of Asia, emphasize their common value in the spirit of unity in diversity, adapt them to present reality, opportunity, and challenges. It is because in Asian they have a lot of different country, and different country of course they have a different culture, different of language, and also different of religion. So the ASCC show respect towards of each other because we live as a Asian families members. Then the ASCC will also focus on the social dimension of narrowing the development gap, the ND, NDG, which is towards bringing the development gap among the member states. And then based off all of the above, the ASCC envisage of the following characters like human development, social welfare and protection, social justice and right, ensuring the environmental sustainability, building the Asian identity, and narrowing the development gap. And this topic also I will be sharing about the issue, the problem, and the challenges that occur in this ASCC. First, we have a social welfare and development, and then gender right of women and children, rural developments and poverty eradication, civil service, and lastly, disaster management and humanitarian assistance. The first problem that occur in ancient ASCC are the social welfare and development. The region is home to a diverse population of persons with a disability, ranging from children with disability, women with a disability, and older persons with a disability, with a varying type of impairment and support requirement, such as intersectionalities of a disability with the sex, gender, race, and age, continue to impinge upon their accessibility, mobility, and a meaningful participation in decision-making processes. This condition has oftentimes leads to the marginalizations and exclusion from the services, fair treatments, and complete information, which is as a manifestation of a discrimination, violence, neglect, and abuse. The region is rapidly becoming an aging society with an increasing number of older persons, of which the majority are women. A significant number of older persons are working and staying in the formal and informal labor market due to the financial and related needs, while some of them experience poverty, particularly those living in the poor and overcrowded urban and in a rural areas. Some of them actively contribute to the growth of the economy by being part of the civil economy that recognizes potential purchasing power and specific needs of population over 60 years old. Next, gender rights of women and children. Women make up slightly over half the population in ASEAN, and significant progress has been made for women and girls in the region, especially on access to education, participation in the labor force, increased quality or reproductive health, and wide space to express their voices and exercise their agency. However, numerous challenges impeding the realizations of full potential of women and girls remain. Girls and young women in the regions continue to face challenges such as the different types of violence and discrimination, including child, early and forced marriage, known as a CEFM, limited access to support such as the reproductive health, education, and services, also access to opportunities. As a women enter the workforce, most of them are found in the informal sector with a minimal access to the social protection. They got really less of a protection and a really uncomfortable places. An increasing number of women works in the garment and textile industry, which tend to the reinforce gender stereotype in both formal and informal sector. Women earn less compared to the male counterpart, and those in the corporate sector have a really limited opportunities to occupy a senior management position. Across the formal and informal sector, the urban and the rural continuum, women in the region continue to fight the violence and discrimination, to advocate for the recognition, redistribution, and remuneration for unpaid care and domestic work, and realize their right towards gender equality. Rural developments and poverty eradication. In the past 2 decades, ASEAN has seen a steady decline of poverty from 47% in 1990 to 50% in 2015. However, it persists, especially in the region's rural area. Poverty goes beyond mere lack of income, is manifest through the inability to afford and access basic needs such as food, health, and education. Poor people face multiple challenges that deprive them of living long and a healthy life and realizing their full potential. Different forms of deprivation have been experienced by many in the region, especially the poor and the vulnerable. Exacerbated by recurring risk and shock, both human-induced or natural disaster, they are prone to sliding back to poverty. Moreover, poverty is also driven and reinforced by gender inequalities and discrimination, and thus affect women and girls differently than men and boys. Considering the multidimensional nature of poverty, ASEAN promote multi-sectoral and integrated approaches to eradicating poverty and realizing the ASEAN's Community Version 2025 and Sustainable Development Goal. Action research capacity building initiative and platform for knowledge and exchanges have been established to facilitate dialogue among multiple stakeholders to eradicate poverty and promote rural development. Civil service. As ASEAN continues to anticipate changes due to the technology advancement, globalization, aging societies, climate change, and greening economy, among others, the civil service sector is evolving along with it. It must be equipped with the necessary capabilities and capacities to administer public resources responsibly and innovatively to meet the increasing needs, challenges, and expectations of people. According to an OECD ADB study, Asian member states have implemented digital government strategy to keep up with the rapid digital transformation and disruptive technology and to accelerate the establishment of an agile civil service. ASEAN has heightened in the cooperation on civil service matters and good governance to support the establishment of a people-oriented, person-centered, and the rule-based ASEAN community. One key achievement of the cooperation was the establishment of the Asian Resource Center, which known as ARC. Over the year, ARC played an integral role in this strengthening cooperation in civil service matters and its providing avenues for capacity building. To complement the ARC, the Asian Network of Public Service Training Institute was established to enhance the competitiveness of the Asian civil service and their capacity to respond to emerging challenges. Further, the Asian Resource Center of Asian Pool of Experts on Civil Service is a mechanism that provides information on experts in various fields of the public sector. Finally, disaster management and humanitarian assistance. ASEAN is also the most natural disaster-prone region in the world, with the more than 50% of global disaster mortalities occur in the region during the period of 2004 to 2014. The rising frequency and intensity of a disaster have resulted in the greater economic loss, increase in the rate of disaster mortality, and the number of displaced population in the region. Reducing disaster risk is one of the top priorities of ASEAN to ensure that the region will achieve the target of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, which is known as the SFDRR, and the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. The ASEAN's Agreement on Disaster Management and Emergency Response, known as AADMER, set as a policy backbone for the Asian member states to enhance their collective effort in reducing disaster risk and responding to disaster in region. However, to ensure a comprehensive and a robust disaster management and emergency response system is in place require a flexible and innovative implementation of the AADMER. The three mutual inclusive strategy elements, institutionalizations, communications, finance and resource mobilizations, partnership and innovation, are the key guiding principles identified in the Asian version on disaster management 2025 to guide the direction of the future implementation of the AADMER. There's a three parties that involved in ASEAN, which is the ASEAN's economic community, the ASEAN's political security community, and the ASEAN social culture community. The Asian political security community is to build on what has been constructed over the year in the field of political and security cooperation. The Asian leaders have agreed to establish the Asian Political Security Community, which is APSC, and the APSC blueprint was adopted by the Asian leader at the 14th Asia Summit on the 1st March 2009 in Tam Am Hua Hin in Thailand. Asian's Economic Community, also known as AEC. AEC was established on 1992 when Asian leaders mandated the creation Asia Free Trade Area, which is AFTA. And ASEAN will be categorized as a free movement of goods, services, and investment, also free financial flow. And in Asian Economic Community, it will be related to investment, money, services, and capital for Asian. For the suggestions and recommendations, the Asian Social Cultural Community has so far affirmed its important role in contributing to building a shared community that is a people-centered and a people-oriented. With the effort from the member state, the community has achieved an important result contributing to creating a strong and a closely connected regional community. Then, they need to strengthen the capabilities of the Asian Secretariat in the area relevant to the ASCC, because if they are not strong enough, they cannot help the Asian people. And then they need to have a communication strategy of the members that involve, which is success in building the ASCC required involvement by all the stakeholders in the integration process. A good communication program is required to create the greater public awareness of the ASCC in all Asian member states, as well as to keep all the stakeholders, including the social, cultural communities and people of Asians, informed of the progress of the community building. Maybe by the actions they can undertake the activity to promote open discussion and sharing of information in the implementing the ASCC, so that they need to voice out and share, like sharing and caring with each of the members. And then establish an appropriate capacity building program to assist the new member states in enhancing the achievement of the ASCC. So this is the the idea that they need the progress of the implementations of the ASCC blueprint shall be reported by the Secretariat General of the ASEAN, the relevant ministerial meetings and calls and to the ASEAN summit. So they also need to give a chances to others to give their opinions and so on so that they have the capacity to build the program to make the Asian people become more creative, innovative, and more success in this associate. Last but not least, the conclusion. The ASCC was designed to represent the social and cultural interests of the Asian people, as this region is moving into economic integrations and globalization, and that the creation of an Asian single identity is a must. If an Asian has a single identity, Asian can resolve whatever problems that may come because we already feel like as a one family. It's not just a divided country, even though we have a different country, but we will be under one family. And then the ASCC will encourage civil society organizations to engage in providing input of policy choices. In the terms of a conflict prevention, CSO works in many ways to promote the peace among the Asian countries. The APIN, ARF, HRWG are the three of the many CSO that play a role in the peace building effort in Asia in way that promote peace in region in order for the positive peace to occur in Asia. Last, regional peace and security will be reached with the help of Asian civil society organization. Hopefully, regional peace will be reached with the help. The interaction among Asian civil society are important in the making of Asian community that is a people-oriented and people-centered. The interaction among Asian civil society are one possible way to prevent conflicts between countries. As the Asian Charter said, we the people. And thank you. That's all from me.